Hello everybody. From the class 10th chemistry, I am taking the chapter first, chemical reactions and equations. And today's topic is characteristics of chemical reactions. As I told you, my previous topic, chemical reactions, that we discussed that what is chemical reaction. Again, the mixing of two or more substances with each other to form a new substance with new chemical properties, with different chemical properties, is called chemical reaction. And today we are studying about the characteristics of chemical reactions. How can we know that the reaction is taking place or not? How can we know that when we mix the two substances, the reaction is taking place or not? The first characteristic is evolution of gas. Evolution means to liberate, release out, बाहर निकलना. When we mix two or more substances in a vessel, in a container, if there is some bubbles produced, that means any gas is producing, which evolving, which releasing out, that is the indication of chemical reaction. That means in that vessel, chemical reaction is taking place. For example, if we add zinc metal in dilute sulfuric acid, then the bubbles of hydrogen gas starts to produce. And as the bubbles of hydrogen gas produces, it indicates that the zinc and sulfuric acid reacting with each other. They are reacting, and due to the result of the reaction, the bubbles of hydrogen gas is producing, which evolving, which release out. The next one is change in color. The second characteristic is change in color. If we mix two or more substance in a vessel, in a container, and we observe that there is some change in color, we observe that the color is changed, that also means that reaction is taking place. A very simple example is, when we add iron metal, maybe iron powder, maybe iron nail, maybe iron blade, in the blue colored solution of copper sulfate. Copper sulfate is the blue colored solution. In that blue colored solution, if we add the iron metal, the iron react with copper sulfate, forms ferrous sulfate. The color of ferrous sulfate is green. That means slowly and slowly the blue color of the solution changes into green color, and the red brown color of metal, copper, settle down at the bottom. The changing in color from blue to green is the indication of chemical reaction. The changing of color from blue to green here indicates that iron react with copper sulfate to form new substance, ferrous sulfate, and copper metal released will settle down at the bottom. From this example, question arises that what are the two observations in this example? Here the two observations are, the first one is change in color from blue to green, and the second one is the red brown colored substance settle down at the bottom, which is copper. The next indication is, the next characteristic is change in physical state. Physical state means solid, liquid, gas. When we mix two or more substances with each other and there is some change in physical state, that is also considered as a chemical reaction. For example, hydrogen gas when react with oxygen gas to form molecule of water. Water is in liquid state. Here the reactants are in gaseous state. Hydrogen in gaseous state. Oxygen again in gaseous state. But the product is in liquid state. Here the change in physical state. And the product water has totally different chemical properties than the reactants. So it is also considered as a chemical reaction. The next one is formation of PPT. PPT means precipitate. Precipitate means whenever a reaction takes place, then in the products, if any product is solid in state and insoluble, that automatically settle down at the bottom. That is known as PPT, precipitate. In a simple word, precipitate means the solid insoluble substance which produced in a process which settle down at the bottom is called PPT, precipitate. If any process, if when we add two or more substances in a container, in a vessel, and if there is any colored PPT, any color of PPT is formed, that is also the indication of chemical reaction. We can say that the reaction is taking place because there is PPT is formed. For example, when barium chloride added with sodium sulfate, both the solution of barium chloride and sodium sulfate is transparent, is colorless. But after the mixing of these two solutions, a white colored PPT is formed, that is of barium sulfate, which settle down at the bottom. The formation of this white colored PPT indicates that the barium chloride and sodium sulfate reacts with each other. That is the chemical reaction. This reaction is also known as PPT reaction because here PPT is formed. The next indication is change in temperature. If we add two or more substances with each other, and if there is any change in temperature, means temperature maybe increases or maybe decreases, that is also the indication of chemical reaction. We can also say that the reaction is taking place. If temperature is increases, that is known as exothermic reaction. If we add temperature increases. If we add two or more substances in a container and after the mixing of these substances, temperature increases, the container becomes hot, the container becomes heat up. That is also the indication of chemical reaction. For example, if we add calcium oxide, that is also known as quicklime, in water, reaction is taking place and an aqueous solution of calcium hydroxide, that is also known as slaked lime, is produced with the evolution of a large amount of heat. Here the sign of plus heat indicate that heat is evolving here, indicate that temperature increases here, and due to the evolution of heat, due to the increasing of temperature, this reaction is known as exothermic reaction. In some cases, temperature can also be decreases and they are known as endothermic reactions. Temperature decreases. For example, if we add barium hydroxide with ammonium chloride, these two substances react with each other, and as a result, barium chloride and ammonium hydroxide produced, but with absorption of heat. The sign of minus heat with the product side shows that heat is absorbing in this reaction. The sign of minus heat here shows that temperature